Yes, what happens to our politicians that we elect, and they go to Washington or wherever to stand up for their district and their constituents, and all of a sudden, they're not for us anymore. It's like we've been voted in a god, and they think they can do as they darn please, and they want to thumb their nose at the rest of us.
I don't know.
I don't know what happens to them if they get there. Are they blackmailed?
No, I don't know. There's an old saying that I think might reflect it, that says power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I think that's just a temptation that we have to guard against. And, you know, I served 6 years in the Missouri House, and it's important to stay grounded. I have a prayer team. I try to have my values and my family, have friends at home, keeping you grounded. And we were blessed with a daughter. You know, I made a difficult decision, but I went home. You know, because you got to keep your priorities right. You know, God first, family second, others third. You know, and I think too many people lose that thought, and they lose that perspective. And so I have a lot of good friends at home, and they promise to keep me grounded, and I've asked to do that. I'm going to come home every weekend. I'm not going to go live there and buy a house like Ike Skelton has for years and years and years and live there. You got to stay close to what matters and who matters, and that'll help.
Yeah.
On that same note, do you support term limits?
I certainly voted for it in '92, and it was frustrating for me, as it was, I'm sure, for you, and the Supreme Court threw that out. So we have it at the state level, we don't have it at the federal level, and so at this point, you and I have to be the term limit people, and just do it the old-fashioned way until we can get it. It'll take a constitutional amendment, probably. So we'll see what we do, but I can tell you, there's a lot of support for that. There's a lot of support. Yeah.
Well, I have two theories. We do have term limits. It's every 2 years. We just don't exercise. I mean, we don't exercise them. Are we going to get rid of Ike Skelton, or are we going to keep Ike Skelton? We have automatic term limits, but we don't. It's our fault. Okay? And then what happens to our politicians in Washington is you're going to be met by the same bureaucrats that have been taking care of Ike Skelton for the last several years, because they're not going to change. They are unionized, they are lifetime, they are 30 or 20 years and out, and they're going to tell you where to go and what to do. Okay?
Good luck.
And the only people, I know, okay, but that's exactly what happens to our politicians. And they get in the routine, and it's just easier to follow along. The bureaucracy, the only person I've heard talking about tackling the bureaucracy is Newt Gingrich. And he says we need to do away with some departments. You know, we need to cut the size of this federal government, and that's what we need.
Yeah, I was pleased with the Pledge for America that the Republican caucus came out with this week. I haven't read it all, but the part that I've read is talking about we're going to get back, we're going to have to ask those hard questions. I think we should ask every program, is it constitutional? Is it working? And is it needed? And if not, we gotta rein it in. We need to have a leaner, meaner government. I don't know about that.
There you go.
You got my Democrat tracker here, taping everything we're saying back here. And this is Tyler. Follows me everywhere I go. So just be prepared for an ad with some of this footage from Tyler, and I'll be black and white, and anyway.
Well, is it needed is the most important question you have there.
Is it
Is it
constitutional?
needed?
It's constitutional. It's the most needed.
Well,
There's so many
probably
things
the
at the federal
most important
level.
given
Yeah.
that. Is it needed?
Yeah. In these tough times, we as Americans have to say, is it needed? And
Even when you don't have tough times,
Well,
is it needed?
right, it's true.
And
I'll
put
volunteer
that in your
mine.
notes.
How do you stand on earmarks? You know,
I've signed a
this is
pledge.
going on all the time.
Yeah, I have signed a pledge for no earmarks, except I don't view national defense as an earmark. And I wanted to say that because I will be representing, if you send me there, we will, you know, Whiteman Air Force Base, Fort Leonard Wood. And I'm going to make sure that they have what they need for our national defense. And, but I'm not going to participate in any backroom deals or stick things in on bills and people don't even know it. It's there, you know. But other than that, no.
Do you pledge to read your notes?
Yes, I will know what is in that bill, believe me, and I will do everything possible to read it personally. What we are hoping for is our Republican caucus is to give, what we're pledging is at least 3 days time before anybody votes on a bill, and to make sure we don't have these 1,000-page bills. And make sure they're only one topic. You shouldn't be putting all this other junk in there that has nothing to do with the original topic. Make sure legislators have the time to read the bills and understand it. Make sure the public has an opportunity to read it. And that's what we're going to do.